Hey, it's Deja Vu. I have been so very tired, but also somehow I have been entrenched in downloads, information, so many things I don't really even say. Like, I come to the stream yesterday and I was at the other channel. I didn't speak on Blue Devils being downloaded, and I noticed that I think that it was Duke University. They use the Blue Devil as their mascot. Somebody significant is a Blue Devil. In the original days of the basketball team for Duke University, I think some of the names are intricate to our nation, as in politicians or would be their family lines or their young days at Duke. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why I got Blue Devils. But anyways, I got that. I got some other things. Today, this is so weird. Sometimes I'm in sync, like right to the minute or a day or late or early, whatever. It's like within the window of time, right? So today, I was this morning scrolling around looking because I was like looking into starseed information. I was looking into things that were related to starseeds because I do think that there is a campaign to nullify it. The whole idea of the alien things and all that other stuff, right? I think is somewhat true and somewhat not. The thing is, the point that I think that is true is the Orion Wars going into that kind of stuff. But let me just say, this is Deja Vu. If you're just getting here, please do like, share, subscribe. Thank you to somebody who did like. Thank you, Jakisha. I think that's you. Thank you, Jakisha. This is the information I come upon today. Call it my psychic abilities, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why they want me to be the one, but Citra, Citra, just like the citrus fruit, but Citra. Okay, so Citra is the actual meaning of the star that in the galaxy is known as Spica. Some of you might understand Spica comes in the Virgo and Libra corner of the galaxy, right? It's the okay. This is really so. Anybody who comes from biblical background, they are Christian based, right? Will know what the wheat and the tares are. Okay. Anyways, Spica signifies and marks the ear of the wheat shown in the virgin's left hand. Okay, now, when will we be hearing about the virgin talk more so than these files, these debaucheries that are taking place, right? Okay, so I don't want to be disturbing or anything, but in the last 24 hours in Florida, here in the US, there was a news story. Let me finish reading about Spica real quick, okay? So this is about the wheat. Again, Spica signifies and marks the ear of the wheat shown in the virgin's left hand. The Greek astronomer Aratus, circa 270 BC, wrote, "In her hands, Vitruvius and Hyginus, in her right hand," when she was thought to be Ceres. All the Romans called it thus Cicero, saying Spicum, and their descendants, the modern Eurasians, Spica. The French have LP. In Old England, it was the Virgin Spike, and even Flamsteed thus designated it for at least 25 centuries, and among all civilized people, the Latin word, or words of similar import, has obtained, although the English astronomer Smythe, 1788 to 1865, mentioned an attempt before his day to secure for the... Okay, I'm not going to read that. Just a minute. Let me just tell you. Spica, if I can find it again, it seems to be elusive. It is supposed to mean Citra, which means bright. The word bright, like bright star, shining star. And I'm thinking about an old song. So here it says the brightest star well, the documentation is elusive from where I was just now, so I have to back out of here. But it is Citra, Citra. Okay, that is what is important. It means bright. It is in the constellation Spica. I'm going to play a little news clip. This is a trigger warning, okay? This is Florida.
Last hour, we have seen more police tape go up around that trailer where they did find a little girl unresponsive, taking her to the hospital where she died. Good evening, I'm Greg Warman.
I'm Martha Sagowski. We've been in Citra all afternoon as police investigate this as a homicide. This is all happening on 44th Avenue, a rural area just south of the Alachua County line. Channel 9's Nick Papatonis is there live for us tonight. Nick,
44 is half of 88. 88 is the consolation.
deputies are preparing to actually search that trailer.
Yeah, and we think that's partially why they expanded their scene just by a little bit, stretching this new line of tape across the road here. The trailer behind it, the gray trailer, and the tan one next to it's all one compound. That's in the focus here. There's a lot of children's toys out in front of it, especially ones with a lot of pink and light blue, signifying a little girl is there. Now, they've not given us much information as to the age of...
Pink signifies adreno. You know, think about the Diddy story about the baby oil, okay?
that girl, a specific age or anything else about her. They've also not shared any information about the man that is now being questioned in connection to her death. People at this place, there were other people here. They told deputies when they showed up that the man harmed the girl. We don't know exactly how or what happened, but this is what they told us just a short time ago.
Right, so at this point, it was not a shooting or a stabbing. Based on the information that we've gathered thus far, we're still trying to determine the cause of the victim's death.
A short time ago, a woman drove up to this house and started yelling at deputies. She said she warned them several years ago that something was going to happen. So that adds another question to the many unanswered at the scene right now that we plan on asking and following up on as deputies release more information and get further towards that investigation. And no one has been formally arrested and announced at this point in time, but that's something we're also going to be looking for tonight.
Okay. Why does this matter? Okay, right now the files, right? Okay, so the wheat and the tares. Okay, we already know the story if you are somebody who has ever been raised like in Christianity. We know the story of Cain and Abel. Okay, and we know the story right now that's coming out. Some of us are not aware. Trigger warning, jerky. Jerky is code for human. MEAT. Okay. Yeah, it makes me really disgusted to even think about it. Okay. This is some of the things that have gone on. So some of you know, some of you might not know. Anyway, so I don't know why they wanted me to see that other than to see that the wheat and the tares are being sifted right now. So this, I'm not a biblical person, but I think that every single religion fits together like a puzzle, and we are in a spiritual time. The other thing is that I was going to work on, purely by mistake, I fell into it because I hadn't done this in a while, was talk about the Orion Wars. Some of you may be aware of those. Anybody remember that? The Orion Wars? Hey, Jeffrey, how are you doing? Hi, Princess Kodso, how are you? Well, the Orion Wars, this is, it's Nephilim information. Some of you may not know, some of you may. Okay, a lot of people are pretty privy on this information. I fall into certain categories of information. I learn so much and I kind of get oversaturated and I step back. I don't go back for a while. Then I come back. I realize I have to reread or I didn't actually discover enough. So I think that with the chakras that I was talking on and the SA, the files, stories that were going on right now planetarily, right? I think it's pretty important that maybe I do spend ample time here on this channel discussing the deeper, darker parts of chakras and the way we're being abused by them. Okay, so I don't even know where to start when I go to the Ascension Glossary. That's just the problem right there. She is so extenuated. So she has like massive quantities of information, and you have to link, like click each link, because she always has like a link according to like different things in her glossary so that you can have like a lexicon of information. And it is hard to absolutely get everything that is crucial, important, whatever, because it is really all very fundamental to knowing and understanding, right? So okay, so the NRG grids, okay, that is Nephilim reversal grids. Has anybody heard of this? Has anybody gone down the rabbit hole of the Ascension Glossary? Because I don't know if I'm giving anybody like old news. They've already, gone through videos or they've already done their own research. I don't know. But that's what I'm going to spend time at this channel doing instead of diving into the files, because this is like the backdoor version of why the files are even in our world, why those things, those atrocities even happened, and why they continue to do so. Because it is part of the Nephilim and Archon, and you fill in the gaps, these kind of creatures, they're behind this, right? A lot of people already know this. So the reading I'm doing is coming from Ascension Glossary. It's been around for quite some time. I would say the early 2000s, maybe before. I'm not sure. Let me see when I'm going to see if she has a copy right here so I can get an idea. Her name is Lisa Renee, and she's very, very acutely aware of SRA, satanic things, how people are splintered, about how it all is connected, like with alien agendas and things like that. And the alien agendas are real to some level, but not quite the way they want us to believe they are. So it isn't, some of these faction we hear about, like in the new age, is real. Some of it isn't. You have to kind of husk it out, just like with the wheat and the tares. That is the reason why they lost me for some time, because it's so big. It's just hard, right, to consume all that information. So the Nephilim reversal grid is called NRG. They identify it with the code NRG. So Belial Sun Anunnaki agenda, there is the fallen Anu Elohim hybrid mixture with Orion race lines. Okay, so that's the fallen Anu. Seek to genetically digress and destroy Diamond Sun DNA on Earth. And the Diamond Sun DNA would be us. Enslave humanity and Earth for selfish agendas. And that's part of what's going on right now relating to that island and the files and the doings that they do to people who are not even grown. And, in general, slavery in this planet in any kind of way, be it for the flesh color, be it for the gender, be it for the age, it does not matter. Whatever kind of slave practices that they use, it comes from this. It says cultivates genetic hybrids with their preferred race lines, New World Order agenda for total domination dictatorship, competes with OWO, a Black Sun Draconian, OWO. Black Sun Draconian. Okay, so that's like Black Sun worship, and it's Draco based. Now, if you saw my community board mention today, I did link this, a couple pages, or one page at least, of this, and I was expressing that many SA people have had encounters, such as even myself, with a Draco. And involving the EP case at the island, there was Draco. There were people who said that they think that he was Draco, okay? And I expressed that I thought I saw him at the research facility that I worked at, and that when I was Ruthied, that's how I can only perceive it, but I might have been given some kind of I understand from my readings in the past that Dracos, they don't need to roofie you. They have abilities similar like MIBs, where they can like flash something, maybe their own eyes. I don't know how they do it, because this one in particular, when he took me around, he had aviator dark shade sunglasses on. Like he couldn't get the sunlight in his eyes, or he didn't want me to see his eyes. But then when he got his sunglasses off, I think things changed. I think that's when things happened. Okay, so it says Luciferian Knights Templar and other secret society. Thoth is featured. Now, Thoth is also the emerald manuscript or something of Thoth, right? He's supposed to be the Egyptian deity, right? And he's also Mercury, Hermes. There's so many different. And also, if you look at the tarot, he's actually exemplified on many tarot cards, including the star card. Okay. Impersonates Christos, often uses guardian names or contact for infiltration, successful New Age hijack, astral bliss, spiritual bypassing, and galactic federation. So I think they're saying that the Galactic Federation is part of this. Syrian, Anunnaki, Niburian, Nephilim, Orion groups, and Luciferian. Okay, so now the Orion group is what the WEF is like related with, okay? And they even have their company. They call it the Orion group, and they're part of this. And they're the ones that said you will eat the bugs and you'll like it. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. And they're the ones that quoted that. The headquarter hub in Stonehenge area acts as a final collection point by directing huge amounts of electromagnetic power through massive amounts of collected stolen life force from multiple subsidiaries all over the planetary globe and the planetary grid lines, as well as the planetary gates. The archonic deception strategy is directly to inflict as the actual misery, as the actual abuse, and as the actual, as the ex slaves on this planet, starting as early and young as possible. So we're not joking when we speak of them doing it to babies, okay? And this is the one thing I was expressing on the video that I've locked down, that the early education professional, I would say, she got her college degrees there, for early education for children. She was a good friend of mine, and she was sought out by a guy. And I don't think she was aware that it was similar to looking for single mothers. I don't think she was aware that he was actually trying to be in her proximity because of those that were under her care. And when they broke up, he was trying to get information from me because he knew that I had been inflicted, and he was really intrigued with it, like excited, intrigued, right? The kind of way you should not be. And so I called him on his SHIT, and I made some bold remarks to him, let him know that I didn't think it was cute. I didn't think this was okay, and because I think that he realized that I was splintered. He thought he could maybe trick me, like trap me, or I don't know what. But anyways, I called him on it, and when I went back to see what happened to him, he'd moved. Everything was changed. This is a guy who worked for Intel. He was a computer programmer, and he was pretty well paid. He did really well for himself here in the Northwest. And I think he injected himself from Silicon Valley. I think he moved up here, and that's how he met her. And then he met her because they met through, like, I think the Willamette Weekly or one of those personal ad places, something like that. But because they were both educated, I think that's the reason she fell into his hands, because he liked the kind of education she had, if you get what I'm saying. Anyways, the archonic deception strategy is directly to inflict, as I said. And it says this was taken advantage of by the negative aliens to splinter the soul energies rather than integrate, and heal it by controlling the SEXual energies, by promoting distortions around the SEX act, gender roles, and corrupting our relationship to our mother and father parent. Our race descended into SEX misery. And in many cases, forms of SEX slavery and misogyny, which is like really off the cuff right now. This is known as the SEX misery program, propagated and controlled by the moon chain, lunar lineages of the NAA on the Earth. Okay, so the NAA is what they call Negative Alien Agenda, which is an Archon group. The Negative Alien Agenda, NAA, is to force the planet to serve another multiple species controller agenda through imposing false replicated time fields using bio-warfare technology such as holographic inserts, AI, and mind control. Namely created under genetically reptilian-based archons, extraterrestrials at the expense and life force of the human race and the kingdoms under the human domain. The NAA can be best understood as a psychopathic personality or identity profile with a lack of empathy, that have no feelings of remorse and are generally malevolent towards human beings. Some of you have dated people who carry these traits. Some of you know people in your life that carry these traits. They have implants. Those are the people with the implants. Some people are able to be deprogrammed to shake this, to, lose whatever programming this is. Others carry it maybe till the end, but they're inserted with this so that they can actually infect the rest of the populace. Many times they're people who body jump or bed jump. So if you bed jump, you can body jump. So a person who lays with someone different often. Say somebody who goes to the bar and they try different people out. So these different people, it's kind of like an STD. Okay. So it can happen this way. I'm not trying to weird anyone out, but this does occur. Um, I'm going to kind of segue through this. I'm going to go back and forth a little bit because the way she has it. So woven, it's hard to be thorough. So it says the NAA can be best understood as psychopathic personality or identity profile with a lack of empathy, as I was saying before. See the timeline in the ages of humanity. That's a link she has here in her little glossary section, which is not little. It's very, very huge. Ages of humanity. Those are the words you're going to want to type. Ages of humanity. From the Ice Age in 10,500 BCE. See Galactic Wars, Black Sun, Belial Sun, Fallen Angelic, and Antichrist. Okay, I'm going to back up and we can come back in here if we have to. I'm going to go back to where we were here. Okay, these are lineages not indigenous to the earth, but came through the process of invasion and deception. This is much like, have any of you ever seen these horse, I can't remember if they call them horsetail parasites. They invade a cricket, and it's like, usually they call them horsetail because I think it is because they go to the body of water where the animal will drink or bathe, and it's ostensibly supposed to be clean, clear for the body, but the parasite is waiting for attack. So when they are licking the water into the mouth, they're getting themselves infected at those waters. And so I think that is what's happened with us, because we have all kinds of parasites here on Earth. And I think that it's amplified over time, and there's so many of them. And they could also come from different regions of the planet, of a constellation planet over us, right? Beyond us. So here we're going to keep going. It says, these are multiple layers of architecture and mind control that have been artificially created to control, deceive, separate, confuse, and torture, as well as steal human beings' SCX life force. That is the orange chakra, the sacral center. It is also known as the pain chakra because your pain is related to that chakra. So, and it is a violation against the human soul. The main collection center for SCX misery is called the NRG network. That is the central hub in the UK. It is designed to create psychopaths and SCX predators based on archonic deception behavior. Known subsidiary networks exist at every planet Stargate, such as Iran Gate. So I would assume that would be in Iran, the previous Persia. Let me see. The 10th dimension Stargate is referred to as the Iran Gate. Okay, if you've been listening to the news, you're aware that we have a hot button issue with Iran right now because he has been inciting WAR on them. Okay, and Iran supposedly, they say, has hacked in to get all those files that we need to see the rest of, right? So going into this, it says the horizontal grid and the planetary rod function have been controlled by the NAA and the Alpha Draconis Orion group through the hijack of the Golden Eagle grid by reversing the energetic current into the base 10 math architecture, which has its center controlled from the main 10th gate axis in Iraq, Iran, as well as the 4th gate axis in Giza, Egypt. Okay, I happened upon in my algorithm yesterday, or it's been a couple days maybe, we left Afghanistan, but I think we left them in bad shape. There is like a zombie disease that even the dogs and maybe all animals, but the people have succumbed to, and it has to do with a DRUG. And I suspect that the acronym networks of America and the UK maybe even Mossad, I think, are involved in some of this. Just my suspicion. Okay, so we're going to go back to the Golden Eagle grid real quick. I'll read that real quick. because I think it may be important. They call it the GEG, which is Golden Eagle Grid. Okay. And it says, session focus is horizontal channel openings, mental bodies, working with timelines, past or future identity clearings. This is kind of like maybe another way of saying Akashic. Maybe, I don't know. It could be another version of the Akashic. It says seraphim, avian, or gold ray genetic healing, fallen angelic or demonic releases, male principle healing, air element emphasized, Iraq, Phoenix grid issues. 4D, 7D ley lines. So this is the thing. When we look at tarot, when we look at the occult and how we like use divination to look for our answers, our truth, our way, our direction, our healing, right? There is so much more to it. And I'm thinking that on this channel, I might start trying to discover answers that are deeper, because obviously the Phoenix, the Four of Swords, denotes the Phoenix often, right? I just pulled Judgment. But there are certain cards that have meaning with specific angels, specific locations, body parts, chakras, you name it. And we know, about the astro signs, things like that, but there's a lot more to it. And I might have to start looking at, I'm going to dog ear these cards in this deck. Judgment, Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups, that might be Six of Pentacles. I'm just going to dog ear a few of them. And the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, nice. Okay, so it says, one of the Guardian planetary grid networks defined for advanced HGS session works as guardian of horizontals. Iraq is the air. So when we talk about the zodiac, when we talk about tarot, Iraq would be air. That would be the sword suit. Session's focus is horizontal channel openings, mental bodies working with timelines, past or future identity clearings. Seraphim. Okay, that's an angel group. Okay, it's a family of angels. Avian or gold ray genetic healing. Fallen angelic or satanic releases. Male principle healing. Air element. So this is the prince and principalities, maybe. Air element emphasized. See, four living creatures. Yeah, that could be the world in the tarot. As described in the book of Ezekiel, are the four main planetary grid networks which connect with the Magi grill crown four royal stars, which spans into the harmonic universes. The four living creatures hold the cosmic clock of the aeons, and the timelines connected in the galactic core that comprise the instruction sets of organic historical records upon the earth, Terra, and Gaia. The four living creatures are the great white lion, the golden eagle, sacred blue cow, oxen, and the four pillars of the man. Planetary grid networks. The four pillars of man are also known as the four faces of man or God, which unify with the other three networks in order to generate the fifth element, principle of divine ethers, which are the guardians of the pillar. And Easter Island is where that takes you. When you look at the 12 guardians of the pillar. Now I'm going to jump around. I'm going to do a lot of reading. I might now and then just pop in here just to see what I said and see if I can take notes and do some kind of time stamping. I don't know. This might be useful to myself to learn in the future, but it certainly will be helpful to others as well. So it's up to you if you want to indulge in this, but it gives you a way of learning it. You don't have to read it yourself. You could do other things maybe. I don't know. It's totally up to you. This is Deja Vu. If you are just coming in, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I do appreciate it. The 12 Guardians of the Pillars refers to the ultimate function and result of the reconnected four pillars of man grid, FPM, of the planetary grid network, required to support the ascension hosting of the earth body. out of the earth body. So this is like, it's essential that these are standing here so that we are able to ascend from our body, from our shell. Essentially, they are now called aurora pillars, and they are the columns that hold the base of the aurora platforms, which are safe zones for the planet. There are aurora platforms around the Earth body and acting as passageways between the Milky Way and Andromeda galaxy. So it says Easter Island. This FPM relates to the threefold founder flame. The consciousness grid network, this is located in Chile at Easter Island. The four main pillars of the consciousness units are massive light sound pillars that are related to the creation of the entire human 12 tribes, 144 harmonics in the DNA, genetic template. So when we say 14400, I think they mean from this location, they have been scattered from here and beyond and everywhere. Genetic template, these consciousness units are the collective pillars in the consciousness structure of the founder's elemental bodies. They contain all genetic elemental materials and race histories throughout the entire root race evolution cycles. When the diagonal lines are activated on Earth at the end of the ascension cycle through the Great White Lion GWL, vertical and golden eagle grid, GEG, horizontal merge, or rod and staff alignment. So this would be the fire. This would be the fire element. The three parallel universes merge together through the activated four pillars of man network. I'm going to look at the white lion, the great white lion, because I think that the August, the Leo gate, portal 88, I think, and Sphinx, obviously, there's connections here. So it says session focus is vertical channel openings, reconnection, and activation of higher frequency vertical light bodies, opening and healing heart complex, emotional spiritual bodies, Elohim, feline, or blue ray, genetic healing, female principle, healing, water, element, emphasized, Egypt, Sphinx. That is what the Great White Line is supposed to be about. It says, the APIN network was created by the pure races, so pure, I feel that must be good, on the good side, and guardian founders. The founder feline lion, so it's feline lion, planetary grid network was created by the Elohai, Elohim, feline, and leonine Christos races in their image. The APIN grid networks were designed in the consciousness ray of the founder lineages. The Great White Lion is the mother races of the Blue Ray and a part of the threefold founder flame, Aqua Blue Ray of Mother Ark. See the four living creatures. Okay, now four living creatures also can be blended and folded into one, not just four pillars, but we're talking about using four classes of genetics to create chimera, okay? But I really think that I need to look deeper into something here. I don't know if it's going to be linkable. I'm going to check. I'm going to back up after I go to the Sphinx. I'm going to read the Sphinx. Then we're going to read the planetary grid network, and then we will talk about a couple things here. I'm going to probably have to be all over this site a lot, so I don't know if anyone's going to come back for this, but we're going into the Sphinx now. Thus, the lion APIN is in the image of the feline, leonine race. So it's a feminine, okay, entity that the Sphinx is embodying. Note that the Sphinx, which originally had a lion's head, was built as a tribute to the Elohim feline races. And I think I remember Sekhmet was supposed to be, I think, the Sphinx, or part anyway. Okay, so the Blue Ray founders, the resistance Nibiru, Anunnaki, defiled and altered it. So they must have inhabited the Nibiruans. Oh, he's totally escaping me. Napoleon, because Napoleon was supposed to deface it. So, and I think that there might have been more than one attempt, but maybe he was embodied by the Nibiruans. The heart of the Great White Lion Planet Grid Network is located at the 12-dimensional 12D Ray Energy Center. Excuse me, I'm sorry I'm burping at you. I had stir fry earlier, and so the spice is really, it's nobody's joke. Anyways, so Energy Center Node Stargate Portal in south of France. It stabilizes 12 primary vertical exiotonal lines. The Golden Eagle grid is anchored on the Iran Gate. In the Middle East, it stabilizes the 12 primary horizontal ley lines. The Great White Lion is the guardian of the North and the South ley lines, and the Golden Eagle grid, the guardian of the East and West ley lines. Planetary Grid Network, let me read that to you real quick. Defined for advanced HGS session work as guardian of verticals, Egypt, water. So now Egypt is water. So we had air, we had water, we have fire. So of the 4 lines, it says session focus is vertical channel openings, reconnection and activation of higher frequency. Vertical light bodies opening and healing heart complex. Emotional, spiritual bodies. Elohim, feline, or blue ray, genetic healing. Female principle healing, water element is emphasized. Okay. See, I lost it. Every time I go to one of these links that she has, I lose where I was because there's just so many offshoots. It's like looking at a tree and having branches on branches. It's hard to, I don't know. It would take a team to study this, to be quite honest. Okay, so we just went into the 12 guardians of the pillar. I'm just going to back out. There was the ray, the blue ray. That it was sacred blue cow. So we talked about the white lion, the golden eagle grid. Now the sacred blue cow, I'm clicking that one. It says is the planetary network that has surfaced into awareness with the recent amethyst order activity during current rehabilitation projects transpiring in the planetary grids in a relationship to the running of Christos base 12 current and new elements from the God worlds. This has the purpose of overriding the current problems that generate grid reversal damage connected with Dragon Moth grid. So I really don't even know where to begin. Does anybody that's dropping in have any intel on this at all? Hey, Carrie, where have you been? How are you doing? It's good to see you. I hope you're doing okay. It's kind of deep. Okay, so this, I'm going to back out on this one. I'm going to go to the glossary for a minute. Because we were at the Orion Wars to start. Okay, so let me just give an encapsulation here of what they have on the beginning. Potentials I could click on, okay? Because they're all within the in the context of what she's written here. So we have Godhead, Christos, Guardian, Yeshua, Church of Rome, Essenes, Nicene Creed, Book of Revelation, which is where we are now, Armageddon, which is where the software, violent religions, that's where we are kind of right now. So maybe I should go in that vein, but we're missing some really important data, but we can jump around in the future. Negative alien agenda, crucifixion implants, personal integrity, mind control, cognitive dissonance, armor of God, collective awakening event, which is where we're headed. So it's like mass trauma that's going to push us into that. Tonight, shortly before sunset, Venus, Mercury, Neptune will be visible to the right of the moon. Carrie, Carrie, let me ask you something. I don't know if you even know if you have very much Aquarius in your chart, like if it's just sun or, if you know to what level, if you have stelliums. Have you been exceedingly tired? I mean, after the solar eclipse, because it was in Aquarius, has there been like attacks on you, or you been feeling tired? Have things just been kind of wild that way? Do you think that it's like you're noticing it more than others? Because I'm kind of thinking Aquarius energy is getting a hit, a real hard hit. And that's kind of what I was thinking maybe was going on with you. And I was putting out prayers for you though. But I have noticed other readers that are Aquarius and people who comment sometimes where I do see things. And I destroyed one of my machines, and just energy's just been off the hook around here. And others aren't as exhausted as I am. Jeffrey, how's that snow doing where you are? Is it clearing up? I think that's the reason why I'm going down this vein, because I was doing the chakras. It got disjointed. The outsiders, the people that are not connected to the energy that I'm, my other person, right? He's a good person, but he's not spiritual in the least. I'm being honest. He's not. So he doesn't understand. And so that makes him an easy target for anyone who is trying to attack me to come through him. I had a bird go by just now, so that clarified that right there. I saw it shadow. But the thing is, like lately, my abilities are even heightening. So the sharper I become, the more vulnerable he is, I think, for someone to slip in. So I don't know, Carrie, if you've got people in your circle who are kind of like him, where they live more 3D based. And I am 3D based, but it seems like my abilities are kind of heightening too. So due to that, I think it makes me more of a target for those entities in which are hunting us right now. We got so much snow for 3 days. I had a lot to shovel. My body feels it. Your entire family. So yeah, you're feeling the, so there could be silent. Well, I don't know how to even word it other than say just like attacks. Because it's like my other he doesn't drink. He doesn't do, he just takes pharmaceutical, which I think is already a bad thing, but that's just my opinion based on what I know, but what I've learned. Anyways, there's no reason for him just to not know when he says or does something that is like underhanded, mean, or something cruel. It's like I think he has like something else into him. So, and then my sons, I spent 2 days having to separate them so they could eat. Then I got a day reprieve, and then today. But I think that the veil is so thin right now. It's only a matter of time before we can see them. They won't even need to be inside the bodies of anybody. I think most of us will be able to see them because they're here. Okay, so she says in this last paragraph on this main page, she says, it is important to develop personal integrity, ethical conduct, and a sincere desire to seek truth so that you are not used as a pawn in the mind control game. This is what I was speaking about family members, because the less spiritual a person is, the less they have personal integrity. To do so, you must educate yourself on the war over consciousness to sharpen your mental and emotional discipline, to avoid being manipulated by dark forces, those who do not understand the nature of reality, or how darkness works to exploit your weakness through cognitive dissonance will fail. We must address this challenge with some degree of patience, diligence, and maturity. So power up on your armor of God, feel into your heart, go slow, and as always, only take what resonates and discard the rest. For more, see the collective awakening event. Okay, that's jumping forward for me here on this. And I don't see the date copywritten here as far as on her footer. But I am going to jump into some of what she has taught. Okay, wait a minute. I have a search tool I can use. Just a second. Okay. See, this is really disturbing to me because, okay. So I've let it be, the cat is out of the bag. I've shared, I've exploited the geneticist, the apple, the whole story, the background, the Draco, the essay I've been through, the blackouts. You know, many of you already know this. I know Jeffrey and I know you, Carrie, know this. And that, yes, J.E., the individual connected to the island, was possibly, and it does look like it was, you know, you used your pendulum, Carrie. We both saw a yes on that he was cloaking himself, and he was Draco, and he was the one. So if this is true, I have had an unwanted experience with that individual. And I think I've been being tracked by the Dracos ever since. And that is the reason I was chipped, like herd, like cattle. And it's so demoralizing to feel like you've been treated like a piece of, you know, a cattle. And for what targets? Well, they implanted me, I think, for these honeypot plans, or, you know, because I was seasoned to understand or be intrigued with espionage and doing this and that, and I wanted to be around people, you know, like romantically. So I was in, you know, entrenched with like people of brotherhoods and just different groups. And so I don't know if I was supposed to be a ritual sacrifice. I don't know what their plans were for me. I do know that ever since I got married, it's probably been the most safe I have been, but I certainly know they can go through walls. There's like a lot more to this than many people realize. My middle daughter doesn't believe in heaven, hell, God, angels, and so the programming got her. So she believes in the programming where they might have stripped her down to atheism, or she just doesn't have any beliefs at all. The veil is lifting. Yeah, yeah, and that was a Bible verse too, I think, Jeffrey. When the scales are lifted from their eyes. I don't remember where that was at. Maybe I can find out where that quote comes from. Okay, that's the thing that really kind of really disgusted me today. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to put this out there. So the Lyran and Orion Wars, okay, they say from the research I've done in the past, from my memory loosely, that we were all in the cradle of life tinkered with and spliced together, and then humankind was born. Basically, everything in the cradle of life started and then was brought, maybe petri dishes over here, but it started with Lyra, Vega, Lyra. And the reason why we have the fight or flight thing going is because we do have a reptilian brain. That is something we're taught in school, unless the Mandela has stripped that out of the school system. But that is something we were taught, right? That there's a reptilian facet within us, and that's what keeps us in survival mode. And that tells me that we're part reptoid. We're part Draco. That is disturbing to me because I don't want to be, I know there's got to be a good thing in everything. And if it's dragons, like full-fledged dragons, right? Maybe there is a good thing, right? To some of them. So, but it's like, what purpose are some of us cataloged and tagged? And maybe we all are and we aren't aware of it. Maybe everyone has been and they have no memory of it. They don't have any identification. They haven't had experiences such as what I have to question and notice and have full awareness. Hence, I did explain the Hannibal Lecter connection I had with Jodie Foster. I can't think of her character's name now. Starling. I think it was something Starling. Every Friday, the research center where I worked, I would show up because I was in school. I would show up in the afternoon to do the afternoon portion of work, to finish the slack for some of the people who left earlier in the day. And as I was working, it was an office job, but down the corridor, there was an incinerator. So you would have these, through an elevator shaft come through, these poor lambs coming through, and they would go down the corridor and you'd hear them going, bah, and literally you'd hear them. And the first time I remember hearing it, it was like, why am I here? And I was in utter shock and in disbelief when I was told what it was about. Then after I smelled it, it doesn't leave your nostrils, and the smell never leaves your memory. Never. It's traumatizing. And I cannot imagine those poor sheep. This is what the hell they do. And now they're putting these, if anybody's listening to this right now in the US, they're putting incinerators now into the US camps. This is what he did in World War II, according to what we're told about the little mustache man. So I am just going through a bit of trauma. I'm sorry to be triggering anyone with this, but it's horrible knowing that this is happening to us, and just having a little more understanding helps somewhat. But it has been a heartbreaking week for me. Just everything that's come out, everything I'm learning, my personal situation, the world situation, and seeing that the victims went through what they went through. And I just cannot imagine any of this. Why? It's horrifying. Why suffering is a necessity to these beings. Why they must sacrifice and torture others. I can't fathom it. She is trying to teach her siblings through there is nothing. Is she an atheist, or is she agnostic? Is she atheist? Does she have a particular, she has nothing at all that she believes in? So the quote says the scales fall. Let me see. I think it's in Corinthians. And it's funny because there was a lady that I worked with, and her name was Corinthia. And she was the one I replaced, actually, at the job that I would get hazed at. And they went through people. They sacrificed us, all of us. They threw us to the wolves. And I was blackballed. So here's 2 Corinthians 4:4. It says, and I don't think this is the actual quote, it says, in their case, the God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. I don't see the quote that I was looking for, though. I probably needed that quote, though. Here it is. Acts 9:18. Immediately something like scales fell from his eyes, as it had been scales which were little thin skins or films, like the scales of fishes, which were formed from the deflections that fell from his brain. through the excessive light. Okay, so scales. Reptoids have scales. Dragons have scales. It's armor. It's skin armor. The scales are falling. Scales is Libra. Libra is Spica. Spica is the Citra. Citra, that little girl in Florida. Why did I have to get the two connections within just a short period right there? Because the algorithm had seen that I'd been researching Spica, so it sent me the Florida story. I don't think I would have seen the Florida story at YouTube where it said Citra had I not been doing the Spica research. I know I'm getting dizzy thinking about all this, really. I am. There was something about that little girl, though. I'm getting this feeling that these entities are hunting. It is a purge right now because there's nothing being done here on this part of the planet against those that are defiling the young. It's just disgusting. But it has to do absolutely with the programming. Okay, so the Ascension Glossary, okay? I'm going to do the randomator, so I'm going to do what I am given, similar to how tarot operates, okay? So I did a randomator, and so we have ELAYSA code, ELAYSA. The elation currents carry intricate orchestral, musical masterpieces of solar female Christos Sophia celestial songs, which are only heard by those with developed symphonic sonar water acoustic templates, which comes when having a direct loving relationship with the cosmic mother and a deep reverence for the solar feminine principle. This reminds me of when I hear the dolphins talking to me. So maybe this is dolphin connection. The ELAYSA code corresponds directly to the many layers of crystal cathedrals that are being built through every dimension plane in the Albion light body. The ELAYSA fields are that which give access through the individual's central nervous system to run the crystal tri-wave currents that open into aurora timelines or other organic ascension timelines that serve that individual unique highest expression. So let me make a real quick interjection. Would anybody be interested if I can get the gumption to do it, as in the energy, the vitality? Would anybody like me to show up at one of my channels to read tonight? Let me know. And maybe tomorrow morning's better for some. I know Cherry likes the mornings. My hours have been kind of messed up because my sleep is I'm exhausted. It's just so erratic lately. I'm so exhausted. So thus there is an Elysian code in the Elysian currents that appear to be a crystalline liquid. Hey, Alpha Omega, how are you doing? And hey to Maui. So is it pretty there right now? Are you having nice weather in Maui? Sure, I am at home tonight. Is it warm there or is it chilly? I mean, do you have it comfortable or do you have to work real hard to get it comfortable, Carrie? You're getting rain. Well, don't they say that it rains a lot in Maui? I think it does, doesn't it? Because I'm off the Pacific and I know rain is like, we're all about rain where I am. But I think that my mother, she was there twice. I think she got a lot of rain when she was there. On the east side of the island. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Okay, so here it says that it surrounds the myelin sheath of the nervous system. So I guess that if anybody is dealing with nervous system disorders, That is another thing I think I mentioned in the chakra readings. This could be something that needs to be restored to protect them. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. This is a page that I just kind of just jumped on. I'm going to keep reading this one, okay? This was one that they sent me. I just erroneously got. But the reason I've come to this was not just the initial discussion of Draco's NSA and the programming, the implants, and everything like the psychopath behaviors for the SEX, slavery, and all that. The reason is the chakras that are associated in here that are being dined on by these creatures that we don't want dining on us. That is something I think she is speaking on in here. And I really want to make that the forefront, since that's the real reason I come for this. And then we'll branch into this. So let me finish this page, and then maybe I'll look for some of the chakras. We'll start out maybe with the root and work our way to the crown. And there's some beyond that too, I think. Yes, keep your electric blanket nearby. Yeah, I have stacks of blankets. I don't have any electric blanket here, but I have stacks of blankets. And usually I just kind of get under them all. Okay, this says, in order to attract the genetic bond made with the eternal spiritual body that is formed from out of the Rasha layers. Okay, so your spiritual body, which is eternal, okay? Your flesh is the only thing that will erode and not sustain. Your spiritual body is meant to last. This activation process is focused on coding the entire bioneurological system with a rainbow of liquid plasmas activating the vagus nerve with a protective sheath. And they do have vagus nerve updates you can do, or healing you can do on the YouTube, and where you can find videos that do healing, frequency music. And vagus is an important one to look into, the vagus nerve, with a protective sheath covering that opens the central nervous system to run the Elysian currents that connect the neurology with the Elysian crystal cathedral network, which is being anchored in the planet. So for your existence, you're kind of plugged in, and this is the network you're plugged into via this part. So that's how you're connected with the rest of us here. The trimetrics matrix code activation sequence runs through multiple dimensions of the inner holographic nesting of the personal 12-tree grid, which mostly impacts functions in the physical body that are unique to that individual's neurology and are connected to the sixth dimension. The recent expansion into 16D, and then, okay, now this is like, I want to say it's 2012, maybe she wrote this. So this is expanded beyond that, I think, now. And then into the Mother Elysian's matrix in 19D has widely opened the transmissions of the Elysian currents and codings. The corrections will start to run throughout the body at the tonal frequency of 6.5, which begins to dissolve assorted implants and light body issues inherited with the 666 curse, and is especially active now that the first waivers in the Blue Ray Melchizedek group being activated in a wide spectrum of spiritual healing. So in between the 60 and 70 portal wings of the individual light body, assorted energy blocks will attempt to surface and rise in order to be purged out or worked through, depending on the activation layer being represented for that unique individual. In our experience, these purges and clearings brought on by the Rasha layer integration of spirit sparks and Elasa coding can be quite heavy, with upper neck and shoulders muscular fascia, skin, and neurological symptoms. Well, that might be one of the reasons why I'm having major leg issues lately. Now, that is an Aquarian thing too, the legs, and also Sagittarius, I think the thighs. So if you're experiencing any of this, anybody, those could be your chart placements that are activating and or healing something in those areas. The layer of the Rasha body field will begin to integrate into the light body system. Then the eternal spirit body that forms from this integration will begin to enter from behind. So it may be helpful to be aware that the eternal spirit body template enters into the backside of the human body. Thus, many of the related symptoms may seem to source from the backside or spinal column. In meditation laying down, one may imagine or sense that your eternal spiritual light body from the Trinity merge of the Rasha layers activates the cosmic mother, sun Elesa, and her staff flame. Visually imagine the triple solar feminine and triple solar masculine is unified into one holy presence and is integrating into your light body to connect you with the eternal Christ Christella or the Alesia sun. Through your meditations, the tone of El Le Sa will be supportive for connecting with the Universal Mother and her eternal spirit body, and for supporting related energy clearings for deeper solar feminine, or excuse me, female integration. Okay, so I'm going to look into the chakras and see what they can share with us on there. Because I did a search on it and I found her channel or her website, and I hadn't seen it in some time. See if I can get a list of them. Sorry, he's either coming down with something or he needs water. And that's what I've noticed about him is he's not self-aware, dealing with things like the nature of coughing, clearing throat, and needing to do things, to make himself feel better or be healthier. Being base level, you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to have this to drink, I'm going to have this to eat, I'm going to do that, those things are not tending to one's feeling better, not being completely aware of oneself, right? So I notice that quite a bit, and it gets, I try not to nag on him, so I stay away, but it just kind of grades on me because it's like, you really could make yourself feel better if you just did this or that. But, he's older than me and he's been doing this all his years. So. You use a heating pad on your shoulder for a pulled muscle recently. Sending you some healing therapy, healing frequency therapy. Jeffrey, sending you vibrations of good healing. We're in the 30s till today. So you're going up then after now, I hope? Yes, your electric blanket's very important. The heating pads, heating blankets, these are very good for pains too. Jeffrey, what about, do you have Epsom salt? Because you could maybe see about making yourself a pack where you could put Epsom salt on it. Maybe you don't have to maybe be in the water. Maybe you could do something where you could put it on your shoulder. Maybe it will help it. What do you think about the healing properties of bell tones? I think that they're excellent. I haven't delved into it very much, but I think that is excellent. That is one reason why they took the bells off of some of the places that we used to have bells on. They want to keep us from being healed and healthy. I don't know if you know this, maybe in Hawaii it isn't an issue, but in the mainland over here, they have a lot of churches that don't have them now either. And they will make excuses and say that they were antiquated, it took too much time or money to keep them up, or they were dangerous, or they were bothersome, or they'll always find excuses as to why they're not up anymore. But that is kind of like how people use their singing bowls and other modalities to use sound frequency to remove unhealthy, unwanted energies. It's just something about the bells and wind chimes. I love wind chimes myself. I have a funny story I'll share later about our wind chimes, if anybody's interested. But it was something, it was like a haunting that anyways, wind chimes are beautiful. Thank you, Carrie. And thank you, Alpha Omega 2033 AD. Soothing voice has frequency. Yes, voices carry. We're all frequency. Yes, we are. We're light codes. We're color codes. With our arc fields, and we're sound frequencies. Our signatures are all around. It was only 15 this morning. Got up to 49. Oh, 15? Oh my gosh. I do not envy you. Oh wow. I just said, okay, wake me up when it's like 2 times this at least. That is too much. I mean, Carrie's dealt with that up in. I can't believe that it was that cold. But you're probably near the mountains, maybe. Carrie says she has singing bowls. I have one. I just haven't worked with it much. I love wind chimes, but a couple of my kids hide my wind chimes on me. Maybe they don't want that to be used because that bothers them. Yeah, you said that it does. Yeah, I didn't finish reading what you said. So yeah, that's confirmation there. They're carrying something they shouldn't be carrying. You should break out of that and keep them from getting those and rid them of whatever they're carrying. But I have one thing that I have a problem with. So I kind of was questioning whether I was carrying like some kind of like darker energy. But I was going to a spiritualist that this person claims, and most people were agreeing with them, so they seem to be right, I guess. They claim that they've been around the spiritual world for some time. They've been delving into seeing when people carry entities and such, and they can tell the signature is that animals don't want to be around them. And I have animals come to me or come around me, and that is something that wouldn't happen if I was carrying dark energy. That is what they said. So I don't know. I'm hoping it's true. I was trying to really get my saging, my cleansing, my salt bath. I was like, oh, I hope I'm not, because my auric field was destroyed. When I was young, and I've done everything I can to get myself clear. And I know I'm not perfect. I know I have a ton of healing to do, but it bothers me thinking I could be a carrier too. Because I don't want to be a carrier. So like my habits, I try to keep everything, I'm not pristine, not perfect, but I try to keep everything, like in check. It's going to be warmer by Thursday. Yeah, I think it's part of my life past 7. Life past 7s are people who, they're straight shooters. They're people who, they want to be on the right path. They're looking for the truth. They want honesty, and they want to. I grew up on Kung Fu, and I think Caine, was kind of a character that I idolized. So, I think of myself inwardly, as someone who would not like righteous to the level that I'm better than anybody, but I want to do things correctly. I want to do things right. I want to carry integrity. So I think that I feel that as far as the characters I was attracted to, I think that's the life path 7 in me. But knowing and ferreting out information is part of who I am. And part of that is getting to know our creator and understand and help others, know who our creator is too. Because obviously there's going to be people that are going to question that there is even a creator, because there's people out here that are right now being tempted by all kinds of propaganda and all kinds of lies that are perpetrated to dissuade us to have any faith left or belief. So that revs me up quite a bit, I guess. But yeah, the fox come to me a year ago. It was at my window. It was like it was supposed to be right there. And when it turned its head around, it met my gaze for some bit of time. It felt like forever, but it was only seconds, I'm sure. But it met my gaze. It was here. I've had the birds come to me, and I have squirrels come to me, and my boys, they absolutely are all over me most of the time. I mean, seriously, I could discipline them. I mean, I don't discipline them in a way, I don't spank or any of that kind of stuff. That's not something I do. I mean, I'm not even needing to say there are people out there that might do things like that. That's not how I am. But I will do a timeout. I had to carry one of my sons to the closet, and then today it was a double do. They wanted to interfere with each other's eating, so they both got a little bit of time in the closet while the other ate, just to get the eating portion finished. I don't know if there's a creature that was trying to insert themselves, or if they were feeling fear. Like if there's going to be a threat of famine happening in the house. Like I don't know if they were feeling, because they see us eating only one time a day. So they probably are thinking, okay, now it's going to be us. We don't want to be, we still are feeding them what they are used to. We're not neglecting them to any level, but they could have felt some kind of fear. I don't know. There is no perfect people on the planet. Is that a show? No, there isn't. I think we're all here to heal. I don't think that we're going to heal before we're gone. I think that when we're ready to graduate is when we are actually like naturally leaving here. In other words, nobody takes us before it's time. I was thinking about the berries on the vine. You don't pull the berries off the vine until it's time. If you take the berries off the vine too soon, that's synonymous with what's going on in that island. So everyone has the proper time. It's kind of like we have our fate, our palms. They tell us when our time is done, when we have journeyed here and got the lessons, when we have healed and we have helped others heal. Because I do think, even if we don't realize it, we don't recognize it, we each are teaching others, even people we think of as, bad enemies, etc. They're teaching us. I don't like to say that, but it's the truth, because we aren't really in a pure place. We aren't in a good place. And we do learn a lot of things from even heavy and dark energy. Yes, Kung Fu was a great show. I learned a lot from it. There was always a different lesson. It's kind of like I grew up on Little House on the Prairie. Carrie did too. It's kind of like, I'm not like a holier than thou person, but I sure did like watching Little House on the Prairie. No, Kung Fu was a good show. Yeah. Those are two of my favorites, actually. I was really into the wholesome shows. Of course, they were really invading the time slots by putting in things like the spelling stuff. Like that was when Starsky and Hutch and Charlie's Angels started to show up. And then before you knew it, well, he called himself Aaron Spelling for a reason. I mean, Aaron was actually the priest brother to Moses. And that was in the Bible, the name Aaron. Okay, so the priest who would be spelling using sorcery before our very eyes was putting television in our faces. But I liked Chips. Chips was a good show. I'm trying to remember what I grew up on. But the wholesome shows, I think that's where we went wrong. We quit with the wholesome shows. But it's weird, because some of this stuff we're hearing about, the people involved, some of these people are actually the people who are part of the SA groups. These actors, these actresses, these musicians, some of them are definitely those people. There's one, yes, Love Boat and Fantasy Island. Yes, Fantasy Island was really dark sometimes too. My grandmother and I used to watch that. Well, not Fantasy Island. She wasn't, I think because it was on later, but I don't think she was into it as much. She was into Love Boat because she liked to see the old couples that she grew up on who were singers and actors from way back day. She liked watching them. So I would watch it with her on the weekend. Okay. I think because we're just chatting, I'm going to probably get a whole bunch of her, chakra information together. I don't know what it is about. I think it was ginger. I am actually burping, you guys, and I'm so sorry. I had like ginger, garlic, something like this. It was a sauce for the stir fry, and it is just making me completely nuts. Okay, what was I going to say? So I do want to read, but I've been so tired. Last night was just so exhausting. I went 2 or so hours, which wasn't really that many, But I think because the energy is so dense right now, it is kind of like walking through quicksand, just trying to live and then trying to add or exert anything beyond that. Plus, I'm not a spring chicken. So I'm just saying. And also, I started a new exercise regime. But if I can get to it today, I'm actually, this is my second day off. So in a way, I'm resetting. So maybe I do need today off. But because I'm trying to keep things going, I need to be at it again as soon as tomorrow, if nothing else. So I need to try and for me, it's all temperance. It's the game of just doing a little here, a little there. Oh, Marion Ross was on there. Do you remember Marion Ross from Happy Days? Before that was like the beginning of Happy Days, wasn't it? Carrie says, I own the entire series of the Waltons. Carrie, I'm going to come have a slumber party at your house one of these days when you're warm. No, I'm kidding. I was going to say, I love the Waltons. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Mary Ellen. I remember all those grandpa, grandma. Actually, there was a movie, Christmas Walk. There was one that was before that, and it didn't have Michael Learned as the mother. It was another mother. And I want to say it was the coal black hair woman. I want to say her name started with a P. I forget her name right now. Oh, O'Neill? Or no, maybe P. Her name's escaping me. Anyways, they did a Christmas one. And that was about 75, I think. And I think it's before they made the show. And they had John Boy and Jim Bob and Mary Ellen, Mary Sue. I can't remember the little girl who played baseball. She had her hair in pigtails and she was kind of redhead. I can't remember her name. Yeah, sometimes a little at a time. Yeah, that's a good way to rebond, though. Maybe you could recommend that you guys start watching it again. And to some of it, actually, in its own way, I think Stargate was actually a little bit on the spiritual level, as in maybe, I'm not going to say Christian based, but maybe delicately it might have been, because they were kind of trying to warn us about things, but they were also trying to show us. So in some ways, it was like before, the apple was introduced, the idea of the Garden of Eden, and it never went away. So it's like, yeah, there were like peaks and valleys. There's times that we think that we're completely eradicated of, say, a predator or something like this, that would be here hunting us, right? But it's been here all along. It never stopped. It just goes into hiding every now and then, or it finds another covert way of doing things, such as an island or such, right? And it's still there. And in fact, we have been inundated with cases for years before this file situation of the news flashing another predator on the story. This kid or that kid was abducted, or something happened at school, or the church did this, or the neighbor boy, the neighbor girl, something like this happened somewhere. This is always happening. It wasn't televised in my day. Okay, so when you were a kid who was exploited before the milk cartons, generally it didn't get televised. Nobody even knew about it. It was hush. And generally it might have been because there was, say, dirty, or what do you want to call, maybe bad actors involved, like in the people who should have been taking care and protecting the children. But as well, it could be that they feel dirty about the story and they don't want it out. So there's a lot of people who, feel like that it dirties their reputation. They don't want to, be embarrassed, things like that. So for various reasons, it was actually hushed, which is actually helping make the problem bigger. So that's why I think the only power, sadly, for Virginia Giuffre, the only power we have in this kind of fight is to exploit the truth, to bring exposure, to bring light, to let those that are carrying this demon and doing these deeds out to be seen for who they are. Stargate, yes. And they were showing us, yes, because many things in those episodes have happened since then. I heard they are bringing Stargate back. My 31-year-old roommate is a big fan. So do you mean back as in a redo, Jeffrey, or do you mean as in they're going to put the show back on like live, like normal. That's true unless you came from money or power. No average person. So I'm going to start reading on what she has on just the basic chakra here, but I want to get a finite report on each chakra. So let me just read what I have here. So this is at her site, Ascension Glossary. Again, it's Lisa Renee's page. I can't tell you, I hope that you can hear me. I can't tell you the, because I don't see the date. So I don't know the copyright information, but I've just given you the site and the name of the author. But it says function to transmit and receive the spectrum of frequency from the universal time matrix through our body, which acts as a vessel of consciousness. I might timestamp this part and maybe create a separate segment to put over at Ninth Door, over at the chakra information that I was sharing. Actually, I was meant to do that over, long story short, I didn't end up doing it where I was going to do it. It's at Ninth Door. So it was supposed to, I think, be at Lucky Girl, but we'll discuss that later. It is important to open the chakras, increase the circulation of energy flow or life force, because the more energy that is flowing, the healthier and more balanced we are. When we are in energetic balance and have reasonable integration and connections between our body, mind, and spirit, it is much easier for us to expand our consciousness and embody our higher spiritual blueprint. Okay, so in order to get to the rhythm we need to be in to be more aligned with ascension and everything optimal beyond that point, I think also to fight off these other, say, things we're trying to eradicate from our world, right? Illness in the body is caused by energetic imbalances or blockages, and they're hungry when they are coming at us. They come at our chakras because they can smell, like dogs do, like dogs smell fear. These entities can smell when we have imbalances. Okay, that is what I was reading. Or blockages of the flow through any of the layers of the body system. Energy circulation blockages create dead energy and miasma, which lead to dysfunctions, disease patterns, and pain. Reduced energy flow not only leads to illness and states of disease, it creates distorted perceptions that allow us to be out of harmony with the natural laws that interfere and experiencing life as our true authentic self. The function of the chakras is to spin, because they're the wheels, okay? They're the spinning wheels, and draw in vital essences and consciousness energy to keep the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical body of the body in balance, health of the body in balance, okay? So here we have the chakra major functions are: 1, to vitalize the auric bodies, and thus the physical body organs and glands. 2, to bring about the biological spiritual growth and development of different aspects of self-consciousness and connection to life. Each chakra is related to a specific psychological, higher spiritual blueprint, form, and has specific intelligent functions. Many of these functions are designed to increase higher sensory perception. 3, to transmit energy between the auric layers. Each auric body has its own set of 7 major particle chakras and 8 antiparticle chakras. So 7 major particle. Okay, 7 and 8 antiparticle. So it's 7 and 8. Each located in the same place of the physical body. Each progressive layer exists in increasingly higher frequency, each with a higher frequency band than the lower one. Energy is transmitted from one layer to the next through pathways in the conical tips of the chakra. Most of these pathways are sealed in most people. They open through the intention to align to expanding their consciousness or through spiritual purification work. such as when doing regular meditation and devotional prayer, since the chakras serve to vitalize the body to create health and well-being. When they are blocked, they are directly involved to any kind of pathology that may exist in the body. Chakras are part of the subtle energy body, not the physical body, and as such are the meeting points of the subtle non-physical energy channels called the etheric nadis, which are a part of the nautical system. Nadis are channels in the subtle body through which the life force prana, sometimes called chi, okay, or vital energy moves and circulates. Chakras have a physical manifestation as well as are the metaphysical counterpart to the endocrine glands, okay? So the endocrine glands we can talk about at another time. Most of you may know what those are. Those are the hormone areas and things like that. And also, I believe it's the SEX center. So like procreation, things like this. Various scriptural texts and teachings present a different number of chakras. There are many chakras in the subtle human body, according to many ancient wisdom and tantric texts. But there are 7 chakras that are considered to be the most important ones in the main vertical central column, which is called the Hara line, H-A-R-A. The model we use is that there is 7 primary particle chakras and 8 anti-particle chakras that total to 15 main chakras. Each chakra corresponds to the same number of the color spectrum of frequency and dimensional location in the universal time matrix. Let me just make a little note, a personal note. 15 in tarot is the devil. Okay, we're not talking Capricorn. We're just talking the devil. Okay, the devil, this is the devil's playground in my assertion that we are locked into. And according to what I understand, nobody living has dead chakras. You have to have the wheels spinning. It's kind of like a machine. The cogs have to be going round or the machine is no more. Okay, so I think that in order for us to have these cogs going, that is why we are feeding sources for his minions. And it's just my philosophy, my thought, my belief from my own learning. So you can come to whatever conclusion you wish, but it's matrix kind of ish, right? And he is related in like the Merovingian in the Matrix, you know, he's kind of like that character. Their name derives from the Sanskrit word for the wheel or turning, but the yogic context, a better translation of the word, is vortex or whirlpool. Whirlpool. The main chakras operate similarly as the hard drive of a computer. Each hard drive has many files and directories stored as memories. One of the files is always open in each of the chakras, no matter how closed the particular chakra may be. What is displayed by the file is what shapes the individual's reality experience. So it's kind of like a screenshot of the last activity scene. You know how sometimes they do the screenshot, Windows used to do, so it might not be what you would see on the screen, what you would anticipate, but it was like the last saved screenshot. So you have an idea where you're going, you know, like going through those windows. Chakra crystal seeds. Our chakras are very much designed like circular flower petals with seed crystals in its center. The crystal seed of our chakra flower is attached to the central and vertical channel of the Hara line, and the prana, the breath of life, runs in circular patterns throughout our vertical channels. And our chakras, when we are healthy and in energetic balance, the prana tube runs the movement of our breath in the same direction with the Hara line, or central vertical channel of which our chakra cones attach at their center. The antiparticle chakras. The physical body has 7 primary particle chakras that merge with the antiparticle. So then the non-matter double of main chakra centers through soul and monadic spiritual body integration, which is the process of spiritual ascension. These antiparticle double chakras are also called morphinogenic chakras or morphinogenic chakras are primarily dormant until we move through spiritual ascension stages of the monadic activation at the 8th chakra, or we begin to work with the 12D shield. And I will read real quickly the 12D shield. This is the foundation technique suggested to use as a protective energy shield to strengthen and grow your light body, to build the base Maharata shield of the Christos, and to utilize before doing any other types of spiritual healing, energy work, or modality. The 12D shield is an organic part of every angelic human being light body that is connected to the inner Christos template, which can be repaired and activated when using the inner focusing technique to build the 12D shield and ignite the GSF threefold founder flame, the frequency of which activates this horizontal shield under our feet, and its vertical light pillar is platinum white in its frequency spectrum color, which is connected to the avatar Christ matrix. The 12D ray current is the Christos ray and was returned to portions of the Earth's grid network in early 2000, before the Christos frequency was returned to humanity very recently. See Crystal with a K, star, and Christos mission with CHRISTOS. And then you can look into, if you wish to do this yourself, the Merkaba star, 12D ray, avatar triad body. We can come back down here at another time, but right now, this is a shield you may want to see if you can find on YouTube. Maybe they can do music healing frequencies on this 12D to help guide you through meditation. That would be good to look into. 12D shield. Okay, losing the lower chakras. Some of us have noted for many years now, our lower energy centers were shifting. Through the reconfiguration of these lower energy centers, known as the 1, 2, and 3 dimension chakras, we could feel their color wave spectrum changing frequency. Some perceive this as embodying higher dimensional chakras with different frequency colors. This usually begins with aurora coloring perceiving the re-encryption process in the lower body, which is making repairs to the etheric double and lower energy center functioning. The root of perineum area for many star people is no longer red, but changes to lighter hues of violet pink, and often rolled up to the higher energy centers. It becomes shades of blue, green, and light pastels. When we have embodied this frequency change, we do not have a survival fear anymore. We can clearly see when the false king of tyranny from the red wave spectrum is manipulating victim archetypes in the public to incite fear. So those of us that are fully in recognition of Cheeto, hey, Carrie. So yes, anybody who recognizes the tyranny for what it is, they are probably already in the pastel spectrum at this point. Some of us are not yet. We're in the kiddie pool. We're trying to find our way through this, right? So from the red wave spectrum is manipulating victim archetypes in the public to incite fear. This frequency elevation process has been happening for some time. However, it is now happening progressively to more people. The lower chakras used to be etheric cones that were non-physical membranes located at the top layer of our light body. The main energy centers are still present, yet are being elevated to run vital forces throughout our lower body glands, organs, and meridians. The time is now 444. I don't know if that means anything for anybody, but it could be stability, somebody looking for stability. The chakra cones will eventually become absorbed into the higher consciousness aspects of the body, reconfigured completely. And so then they have another link here saying dissolving chakra membrane. We will not read that. I am going to pursue anything I can from her writings, teachings on the most significant, which are the 7 we know of in the tangible realm, right? of the chakras. I want to read on those, but we will do that another time. 444. Yeah, that was I'm thinking Delaney, if she does pop over here, could use that, but 444 is stability. Anybody looking for stability, or they're looking for their life to get better, more solid, more I think that this is also saying that it's showing up at the very time we're reading this, that many of us are fearless. We're shedding that fear of stability. You know, what's going to happen. We're getting closer to feeling solid, that we're looked after. We have faith. We know, right? We know. So the story of the wind chimes, has anybody heard the story that I previously shared about my crows, my friendly crows, disliking the owl wind chime that we moved here with? That was bamboo, and I love bamboo. Does anybody remember that story? That the neighbor come by and said, why do you have I guess that the crows are mad at you because we had the owl up, and I like owls too, but I guess the blackbirds really want to know me better, or they want to be there with me, right? So you've seen this story, and then you probably saw the video I put up of the crows at the skylight too, because they always come to me. They bring me gifts. They really are very intricate in my world. And so to have them upset, it's crushing for me. I can't have that. So I know that I've manifested owls before. I've had relationships with them too. I've actually manifested one on my Mother's Day, and I think it was the first Mother's Day I got my boys, the anniversary, I think, because I got them on Mother's Day. And I think it was the year before I got them. So it was almost like it was a year marker. But I manifested an owl in my neighborhood too in the same time. So I got one when I went shopping across town, and it was on Mother's Day. And the same morning I come home and there was an owl there too. So there were owls showing up. The thing is that the birds from my Welsh, Celtic, and maybe French background seem to be the ones that are the dark birds, and they're showing up quite a bit, and all of a sudden they got quiet. So I went around back, and I find out that he has taken that which I asked him to get rid of, the bamboo owl. He's taken it and put it in the back of the house, fully knowing that I would see it, but I think I was about a day late. But I saw it after it'd been up, and I'm like, okay, now I see what the problem is. And so I told him, I said, because he knows I love bamboo and it's kind of expensive to buy new chimes now. And so he went and he took painstakingly the time to disconnect. I don't know how he did it. He took the owl, which seemed to be chiseled on there, or I don't know if it was glued. I think it was glued. And he parted it from the chimes. So now we have the chimes, but the owl's separate. The point is, I can't let the birds that I know that are, I think, ancestrally coming to me, I can't let them see the owl. So I have it in the house, but I even feel like I'm cheating on them to have the owl in the house. I know that sounds crazy, but it is. It's true. It's like I got the owl and I don't even know what the heck I'm going to do with that owl now. So yes, I think that the blackbirds have claimed me for this duration of my life anyway. So I guess online I can sport an owl here and there, right? I can get away with it right now, I guess. I found out that the Taken miniseries is available on YouTube. And I did half of Muriel's wedding because every time Delaney and I get to talking, I think of it. And I hadn't watched it in some time. So I don't know if Carrie, if you've seen Muriel's wedding, but it is so cute. I hadn't seen it in forever. I love the music in it. And Jeffrey, if you like the 70s music, I don't know if you've seen it. It's a good movie. It's actually a chick flick, but it's funny. I am fortunate for the birds, you mean? Oh, thank you. You might want to give it a shot. I put it over at Ninth Door Tarot. It's linked. So it's at YouTube for free. And I haven't noticed any commercials, knock on wood. So depending on the person who uploaded it, according to them having maybe a premium account. So if they should change that, then there'll be ads later. So you might want to catch it when you get a chance, if you want to, anyway. Taken was Dakota Fanning, I believe. And there was a blue squirrel that I saw in the clip that the little boy had visiting him, and this is their avatar. They create like something. They bounce an image off themselves, kind of like how the Dracos do. Yes, they don't befriend many people. Do you mean the owls or do you mean the black birds? I haven't got him to walk up and feed from me or anything like that. Because we live where we could get critters I don't want, the kind that are related to squirrels but are not squirrels. You know what I'm saying, right? I'm not even gonna give it any kind of energy. We live where that can actually happen at. I will not. I have not. I would have to have faith that the food would not be dropped because I don't want to bring trouble. Because where I'm at, I think a lot of people might have infestations that, I don't want to bring them to our home. But the crows, in time, I might try to feed them and see what happens. But I've had them come close to me on the fence and on the wire, and I don't know what that was. Just a second. So I don't know if I really have them that. I mean, but there is a rapport. It's like, it's so funny. They drop in on the skylight or they do things like when they want my attention. The squirrels are the same way. I will open the window at the right moment and there it is standing there staring at me, the squirrel. And sometimes I'll hear them chattering when I open the back door. Like they have a lot to say. It's so cute. They kind of come up. They don't run away. So that's the thing. I've heard that from the person I was listening to on the video that they will totally avoid anyone they think is carrying darkness. So I sure hope I'm not. I don't want to have nature leaving me. So I love nature. So that is the gist of what's going on here. But I don't even think we have crows because I think the ravens, excuse me, crows. We have crows. Okay. I don't think owls are around. I'm getting it all mixed up here. I don't think owls are around because I think that they don't have the proper maybe trees around, but I think because there's just so many crows around here that they kind of have territory. But I know that owls can be really, really powerful. So I mean, I don't know if there was a battle who would fight it out, but numbers sometimes can be fierce, right? Okay. It is really windy here. I don't know if you guys are going to have really bad weather tonight. Batten down your hatches if you're going to have snow and cold, because I think that most of us within this part of the globe, be it up in Canada and over into the sides where Jeffrey and myself and Miss Elle are at, I think we could be experiencing unseasonably cold weather. Well, I think we've had it easier, maybe. But Carrie, have you guys? I'm just curious because I don't know about Canada too much. Are you always this cold, or is it worse lately? Like the last few years, has it gotten worse, or is it always this bad? Crows outnumber the owls. Yeah, I wish that they would get along, but I do understand that they all kind of like do they're predatorial and they do their own thing. But I think that I have to be honest. I think if my boys were ever to be around any of them, the the crows, I think I would feel would be maybe more. I don't think dangerous around my boys as say an owl. I do think owls have been sighted catching and taking off the ground kitties. So I don't know. So I think that maybe they'd be more predatorial towards my sons. So the threat of that, I think, is enough for me to prefer the ravens. Crows, excuse me, same thing, but they're a bit different. I actually used to like the ravens more. I do. I have come to really, really enjoy the crows. It has gotten worse. So it's just been like the last few, or how long has it been worse? Yeah, there's no way. I mean, owls are adorable. I've seen people who have videos that actually have had them as pets, but there is no way in hell, not when I have my sons. They're the first, there's no way. But where I am, you can't have more than, and everything is like they check you out for everything nowadays, what you have, everything's under the radar, and they probably use drones to look through the walls for all we know. 10 to 15, it's been getting worse. Rain on Tuesday night. Until then, warm rain to boot. So the rain makes it a little warmer. Yeah, there's no way that yeah. And falcons, I think would be, because I mean, they're kind of like eagles. I think that they might be a threat too. And not that most people don't have falcons, but I mean, there might be random people that do. But yeah, there's nothing that I would want to have around my boys that would be a threat to them. A warm storm, possibly flooding. So are they calling it like, what do they call those floods we had? We had some major rain the last couple days. Maybe you're getting the same system. My little guy wants to say hi to everybody. He's purring. I don't know if you can hear him. This is the one who's not the ham. But lately, he's been really showing up. But the one who, clarification there. Yeah, because it's Pisces season. Anybody tired? Maybe the Pisces energy is making me more tired. Neptune makes everyone sleepy. Hey, Mr. Love, how are you doing? Your friends out here are sending you cuddles and hugs. What do you think of that? Yeah, you're getting cuddles and hugs. Yes, you are. Can you hear his motor? Let me see. Talk to them. Talk to them. Oh, he just walked over everything, so I don't know if you heard anything, but making myself busy. You're busy. Oh, you're working. Okay. Well, I hope you're working hard. Are you having a successful time? Maybe you're having the 10 of Wands energy that we spoke of, but you're having great success as well, right? Are you getting the 6 of Wands energy? Are you having your victory? You're working towards it. That's good news. It sounds like success is on the horizon for you. Let me see here. I have a little oracle deck I have on hand here. Yeah, you're supposed to play too, Mr. Love. There's something about enjoying life. Don't work too hard, okay? I see dolphins here. Yeah, I am thinking about going to, I was thinking Ninth Door Tarot again, but I haven't shown up at Lucky Girl. I think I'm going to ask my pendulum which one I'm going to go to. I'll let them decide for me. Tell my story when I read for you. Hey, Cherry, how are you doing? So something happened. You found your somebody or it's your job? Let me know. I'll probably be on one of the other channels later. So if you don't find me here, should I go to ninth door later? Hi, baby. I know. You have a whole bunch of people here that were talking to you. Yes, you do. You're so cute. Thank you for the kisses. So cute. How about Lucky Girl Tarot? Should I go there? No. They're telling me to go back to ninth door. Let me just find out for sure. How about Cosmic Sage? Should I go there? No, they're saying ninth door. Maybe they know that ninth door is a newer channel and it needs a little bit more energy put to it. I don't know. That's the one they gave me, ninth door. So maybe that's where I'll be popping in at. You're welcome, Cherry. I'm glad you're doing good. Did everything get cleared out in your basement? I'm coming across persons, but they are all on money. I am coming across persons, but they are all on money. Not real. You are my sunshine. How are you? So you mean to say they're not real? You mean they're superficial? Is that what you mean? They're not about personality or wanting to know you. They're just about how much do you make or superficial stuff. Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry. I think that might be a lot of what goes on around our world, huh? I'm sorry. I see a lot of that around. I'm not sure how in the real world, outside of the online world, if a lot of people are that way, it could be where you're meeting them. I don't know if you're meeting them in person. I would say that online, I think a lot of people are into what is glimmering, not really. So I guess the wholesome would be like meeting at the park or doing something wholesome. You might meet somebody that's wholesome, somewhere wholesome, or something that is like less superficial. I often denote that to be like the park, but I do know this is a different era than my era. So I don't know if there is any superficiality at the park. I mean, I know there could be, but outdoorsy people who do things in nature. Hi there. Hi there. Yeah. But I'm glad because honestly, I'm working on me. I'm fine. I can't complain. I think that's where it all starts. And so that person, that somebody that should be for you, she might do the same thing. She might be a little exasperated right now. And so she's working on her. The two of you will just accidentally one day fall into each other's orbit. And then things will happen the way they're supposed to be. In my day, that's how it worked out anyway. I mean, we used to, if you had like, say, a job to go to, and so did the other person you met, say you got on mass transit with each other, you took, or say you rode your bike on a trail and they did too. They're just kind of whimsical ways of meeting in my day. I know things are so different now. So I know you kind of have some of that against you. It's good and bad. Networking is a good and bad thing. Alrighty. Oh, Karen. No, I'm average. I'm just reading the energy. But thank you. I'm just reading the energy that I'm given, and I probably ought to get running here. We've been on for 2 hours almost. If I go and get myself recharged, I will show up at night door. So everyone, have your notification bells on, because yeah, this has been, I was doing a lot of reading on screen too. So I got to get my vocals, my eyes, just general. I got to get kind of relaxed, rested a little bit. No, I didn't do any reading here. I just did reading on screen, on a website. I didn't do a card reading or any of that. But yeah, I'll probably need a little bit of time to disengage from the internet a bit before I come back, because I am wiped out right now. Yesterday, it was 2+ hours over at Ninth Door, and the energies, like I was saying, really thick as of recently. And as Carrie was saying, everything's lining up, or our energies are getting real, because Saturn's involved. And so it's thick energy. It's real heavy energy, I would say, because of Saturn. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Thank you, Cherry, for showing up. Thank you, Jeffrey and Carrie, for being here. Thank you, Jakisha. I don't know if you're still around, but thank you. And if anybody I didn't mention, I think Omega, I don't remember your entire name. I don't know if I have a ability to scroll through everybody on here, because now I'm limited to this little thingy here. Okay, Alpha Omega. Yes, I see you. I am very, very thankful for all of you for being here. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll work on getting to Ninth Door, and I could look into. Oh, I'll just make it a surprise. For the collective portion, I'll make it a surprise. I won't even say, because right now I'm not sure what I'll do. I'll pontificate on that for a while, and then we'll just show right up and start reading. And yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And be well, stay warm, stay dry. And yeah, Carrie and Cherry and Jeffrey, most definitely stay dry and stay warm under your electric blanket, and take care of your pains that you have going on too. Okay, we'll all see you soon. Be well, everybody. Deja vu out for right now. I will be back later. Oh yeah, we're going to follow up on this as well, this chakras over here on this level with the Dracos, etc. All this talk. So that will continue over here. We'll all talk soon. Much love to you all. Bye for now.